I was fired mid-demo, my voice cracking over the prototype's hum as the words, "You're out." Hazel sliced through the room like a guillotine blade. Seconds before the lead investor spoke and reversed the entire decision. My co-founder, my lover, my everything, leaned into the mic and whispered the kill shot that buried me alive. And in that instant, as the boardroom spun into betrayal's black hole, I felt my soul rip free, trading places with the monster who'd orchestrated it all.
It was supposed to be our night.
Apex Innovations. The startup I'd bled for over 3 years in the cutthroat grind of Silicon Valley was pitching to the gods of venture capital. The demo was flawless. Our neural interface prototype, a sleek headset that promised to bridge minds across distances, flickering to life on the massive screen with simulated synapses firing like fireworks. I could feel the room's pulse quicken. 20 suits from Sequoia and Andreessen Horowitz, their eyes hungry for the next unicorn. I'd poured my life into this. Late nights in our cramped Mountain View garage, ramen-fueled coding sprints, the divorce from my ex that left me hollow but laser-focused. Ethan, my co-founder and the man I'd fallen for amid the chaos, was my anchor.
Tall, charismatic,
with that easy Harvard grin that disarmed even the prickliest VCs. We'd built this together. Or so I thought. The boardroom in Sand Hill Road's gleaming tower smelled of fresh coffee and ambition, the kind that masked the rot underneath. I stood at the podium, heart hammering, as the headset synced with the volunteers' neural map. "Imagine," I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline, "a world where distance doesn't divide us. Where a surgeon in Boston guides a scalpel in rural Idaho, or a grieving daughter whispers goodbye to her mom across oceans." The demo synced perfectly, the volunteers' thoughts projected as vivid holograms, emotions coloring the air in soft blues and golds. Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan's hand brushed mine under the table. A secret thrill. This was it. Our ticket to billions.
Then,
as the lead investor, a silver-haired shark named Harlan Voss leaned forward to ask about scalability. Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, his face tightening for a split second, long enough for me to notice. But I chalked it up to nerves. He stood, clearing his throat. "Before we dive deeper, there's something the board needs to know." The room hushed. My stomach dropped. He pulled up a file on the shared screen, emails, forged timestamps, bank transfers traced to offshore accounts. My accounts. Hazel's been siphoning funds. Embezzlement. We've confirmed it with our auditors. The words hit like a freight train. I whipped around, staring at him. "What the hell?
Ethan?"
That's not." But he cut me off, his eyes cold as venture spreadsheets. "We have proof. The board's unanimous. You're fired. Effective immediately." Murmurs erupted. Harlan's face hardened, his pen scratching notes. I lunged for the laptop, but security, 2 burly guys I'd shaken hands with at the holiday party, grabbed my arms. "Ethan,
please.
This is insane. We built this together." He didn't flinch. "You built your lies. Hazel. Get her out." Dragged toward the elevator. I twisted back, screaming, "You'll regret this." The doors closed on his satisfied smirk, the demo's glow fading behind me like a dying star. Outside, the San Francisco fog swallowed me whole. Rain slicked the streets of the financial district as I stumbled to my car. Geisaken and my hunt. Fired. Ruined. The headlines would scream it by morning. Apex co-founder in embezzlement scandal. My savings? tied up in the company. My reputation? Shredded. And Ethan, God. Ethan. We'd shared a bed. Dreams. The raw terror of bootstrapping in a world that chews up founders like candy. How long had he planned this? I drove south on 101, wipers slapping rhythmically, tears blurring the taillights. By the time I hit my tiny studio in Palo Alto, the rage had settled into something colder, resolve. I poured a glass of cheap bourbon, Maker's Mark, the bottle half empty from our victory toast last week, and scrolled through my phone. Texts from team members. What happened? Is it true? Ethan's silence was deafening. Then, an anonymous email pinged. Check the prototype logs. Truth in the code. My blood ran cold. The neural interface wasn't just a bridge. In beta, it had glitches, echoes of untested quantum entanglement, whispers of consciousness bleed. Ethan had dismissed them as bugs. But I'd seen anomalies, fleeting visions, like peeking through someone else's eyes. Heart pounding, I booted up my laptop, hacking backdoor access to the server before they locked me out. Buried in the logs, timestamps of Ethan's late-night sessions, syncing the headset not to simulations,
but to
us, neural maps of our brains, harvested during trust exercises, and transfers not to my accounts, but rerouted through proxies to his. He'd framed me, using our own tech to plant digital ghosts. The bastard. Fury boiled over. I slammed the headset on, desperate for any edge, any way to expose him. Connect, I whispered, calibrating to the last stable node, the boardroom demo. The world dissolved. A vertigo pull, like falling through code.
then.
Clarity. I was staring at my own empty chair in the boardroom, but from Ethan's eyes. His body. His hands gripping the podium. Harlan's voice droned on about due diligence. But inside, Ethan's mind raced. She bought it. The board's mine now. Apex is mine. I recoiled, trapped in his skin, his thoughts slithering like oil. Panic surged. How? The glitch. The entanglement. Our minds had swapped. I was him, and he was
Me? No.
in my body, wherever it slumped in my apartment. He must be waking up.
Disoriented.
Ethan's body, blinked hard, forcing a smile for the VCs. Scalability's no issue, I said, Ethan's voice smooth from my throat. Inside, I plotted. This wasn't just revenge, it was possession. I'd walk in his shoes, unravel his empire from within. But first, survive the pitch. Harlan nodded, impressed. Bold move, Ethan. Cleaning house like that shows spine. The deal closed at $50 million. Confetti virtually exploding on screens. Handshakes all around. My hand, his hand, clammy with stolen triumph. By midnight, I was in Ethan's penthouse overlooking the bay. The city a glittering lie below. His closet, Tom Ford suits. Rolex ticking like a bomb. I stripped, staring into the mirror at his chiseled jaw. The faint scar from a lacrosse injury I'd kissed 100 times. Alien.
Wrong.
My phone, his phone, buzzed, a text from Hazel's number. What the fuck is happening? Meet me.
Now.
He knew. Good. Let him squirm in my skin. My broke-ass life. I arrived at the studio under cover of fog, pounding on the door. It flew open, and there I was, me, wild-eyed, in ratty jeans and a hoodie that hung loose on my frame. Hazel.
No.
Ethan's voice from my lips, laced with venom. What did you do? I stepped inside, locking the door.
Me?
You're the one who sold me out.
But now?
I'm you. We circled each other like wolves, the air thick with bourbon and betrayal. He lunged, but I was faster in his body. I felt the power, the gym-honed strength I'd envied. I pinned him against the wall, my own face snarling up at me. The logs. Ethan. I saw everything. The funds, the frame job. You used our tech to ghost me. His eyes, my eyes, widened. It wasn't like that. You were reckless. Hazel. Pushing untested code. Risking lawsuits. I saved the company.
Lies.
But there was a flicker, guilt, fear.
Swap back. Now.
No. I released him, pacing the cramped space. My mind raced through possibilities. The entanglement was unstable, tied to proximity and neural sync. We could reverse it.
But why?
This was leverage. You're going to confess.
Publicly.
Or I burn Apex from the inside. He laughed.
Bitter.
In my body, you'd have to live my life. The meetings, the lies. And what about us? You think you can fake me?
Us.
The word stung. We'd been real once, stolen weekends in Big Sur, coding by firelight, whispering about IPO dreams. But he traded that for power. There's no us, I spat. Not after night. Dawn broke gray over the peninsula as I slipped back into his world. First stop, Apex HQ. A glass fortress in Sunnyvale. His assistant, Mia, sharp, loyal to him, handed me a latte. Rough night.
Boss.
Hazel's meltdowns all over TechCrunch. I forced his grin. Old news. Focus on the series A docs. Inside, I rifled his office safe. Hard drives, encrypted files. Buried deep, not just embezzlement proof, but something darker. Emails to a shady contractor in Eastern Europe, neural hacks for corporate espionage. Apex wasn't just bridging minds, it was weaponizing them. Ethan had pitched it clean to VCs. But the real play? Selling backdoors to the highest bidder. And the funds I'd stolen? Cover for his payoffs. Rage simmered. This wasn't betrayal, it was treason. Against me, against ethics, against the dream we'd sold our souls for. I pocketed a drive, then headed to a board meeting. Seated at the head, Ethan's body commanding the room. I greenlit expansions, knowing each one tied tighter nooses around his neck. But doubt crept in. In his skin, I felt echoes, his ambition born from poverty. A father who drank away scholarships. Was I becoming him? The power tasted sweet, addictive. That night, another anonymous tip mine, sent from a burner. To Ethan, trapped as me, coordinates to a dead drop in Golden Gate Park. He showed, disheveled, my body reeking of unwashed fear. What now? You bitch. We met by the bridge. Wind howling off the water. Confess, I demanded, holding up the drive. Or this goes viral. He sneered. You think you're better? That glitch was your fault, pushing quantum without safeguards. I covered for you when the first test fried a rat's brain. A chill. I'd buried that report, fearing shutdown. Had he known? Lies. But his eyes, my eyes, held a mirror. Swap back. Hazel. Or we both lose. Temptation nod. His life was a throne, mine. Ashes. But revenge burned brighter. 1 week. Fix it, or I pull the trigger. I walked away, the city lights mocking my fractured self. End of file 1 to 1012 words. Days blurred into a high-wire act. In Ethan's body, I navigated his empire like a ghost puppeteering a king. Morning started with spin classes in Atherton, where tech wives eyed him, with predatory curiosity, whispering about this scandalous firing. I'd nod, dropping Ethan's charm like bait. Hazel was unstable. Visions clearer now. Afternoons, VC schmoozes at the Battery. Bourbon neat. Deals inked on napkins. Harlan Voss cornered me one evening. Cigar smoke curling like accusations. Heard rumors.
Ethan.
That embezzlement clean or messy? I met his gaze. Ethan steel in my spine.
Spotless.
Hazel's grudge won't touch us. He clapped my shoulder, sealing another tranche.
Power.
It hummed in my veins. A drug I'd denied myself. But nights were war. Ethan, in my body, holed up in the studio, plotting. He'd hacked his phone, sending taunts. Enjoy the view? It's rented on your soul. I countered with leaks, anonymous posts on Hacker News, seeding doubt about Apex's ethics. Insider, neural tech ripe for abuse. Views spiked. Stock whispers dipped. He retaliated, using my credentials to file a restraining order against himself, me, claiming harassment.
Cops showed at the penthouse.
Badges glinting under chandelier light. MS. Whitaker? Stay away from Mr.
Hale.
I laughed in Ethan's voice, signing the paper with flourish. Tell him I said hi. Deeper digs revealed the rot. That Eastern European contractor? Viktor Kuznetsov, ex-KGB coder with ties to dark web auctions. Ethan's emails, blueprints for empathy overrides, forcing thoughts. Confessions. Suicides via neural nudge. The funds? Not greed, but blackmail payoffs to silence early testers who'd glitched into comas. One name jumped, Dr. Lena Voss, Harlan's daughter, a neuroethicist who'd consulted early. Her report, buried, unethical. Potential for mind control. Ethan had paid her off, then framed me for the cover-up when she threatened to whistleblow. I'd signed the NDA blindly, trusting him. The crime I'd borne? Sabotaging a rival startup's demo. Ethan's idea. Executed in my name via forged logs. I'd thought it a prank. It tanked their funding. Lives ruined. Guilt twisted now. Sharp as the swap's disorientation. I confronted him at a dimly lit talk area in the Mission. Hood up over his face. Neutral ground. Tourists chattering over Al Pastor. He slid into the booth. My body gaunt. Shadows under eyes that were mine. You're destroying everything, he hissed. The VCs are pulling back. Good. I slid the Voss file across. This? Your masterpiece. Lena's silence bought with my reputation. His face crumpled, my face, flashing something raw. Regret? I did it for us. You were burning out. Hazel. Hallucinations from the tests. I took the heat so you could rest. Bullshit. But the lie cracked open a memory, not mine. His, us in the garage, me collapsing after a sink. Visions of drowning. He'd held me, whispering, I'll handle it. Protection or control? You used me as your shield.
Now.
Confess. To Harlan. Tonight. He bolted. But I tailed him to the Bay Bridge. Tires screaming. We ended up at Baker Beach. Waves crashing like indictments. Swap back first, he begged. Sand gritting underfoot. The entanglement tugged, proximity weakening the barrier. Flashes, his childhood in Ohio trailer parks. Clawing for Ivy escape, my own. Silver Spoon Berkeley but hollow. Dad's VC rejections echoing. We were equals once, I said. What broke it? Ambition. His voice, my voice, broke. You wouldn't compromise. I did. A punch. My fist in his, my gut. He doubled over. Retching into the surf. Controversial? Hell yes, beating your own body. Blurring victim and villain. But it felt like justice. Back in the penthouse. I prepped the trap. Invite to Harlan. Urgent Lena. He arrived. Voss patriarch in cashmere. Suspicion etched. Ethan. This better be good. I synced the headset covertly. Hidden in the credenza, our prototype. Now weapon. It is. Watch. Projections bloomed. Emails.
Payoffs.
Lena's pleas. Harlan's face drained. You son of a... Ethan burst and then... My body frantic. Don't listen. It's her. Hazel's framing me.
Chaos.
They grappled. Voss dialing security. In the melee, proximity peaked, the swap yanked us back. Vertigo hit, souls slamming home. I gasped in my skin, frail and familiar, as Ethan slumped in his, eyes wide with repossession. Sirens wailed distant. Harlan loomed, phone to ear. Feds are coming.
Hail.
You're done. Ethan lunged for me, but cuffs clicked mine, ironically, from the earlier order. No, his mistake. As they dragged him out, he screamed, It was for us. Hazel, I loved you.
Loved.
Past tense. The twist gutted me. In his mind, during the swap, I'd glimpsed it true. He'd framed me not for greed, but to force a break, save me from the tech's abyss. The glitches eroding my sanity. The embezzlement? A ploy to push me out. Stage a recovery he'd orchestrate from shadows. But I'd pushed too far. The revenge blinding me to his sacrifice. Or was it manipulation? Gelded with love. Boss turned to me. Cuff keys jingling. You weren't on it? I hesitated. Controversial choice. Lie. Claim victimhood. Reclaim apex. Or truth. Admit the sabotage. The buried report and burn it all. Sirens closed in. Half, I whispered.
He protected me.
But cross lines. Harlan nodded.
Slow.
Lines get blurry in this game. Ethan's eyes met mine through the window as they loaded him. Not hate, pleading. The empire crumbled. Indictments. Headlines screaming, Apex implodes. I walked free, but hollow. Revenge tasted like ash. Was I the hero, exposing evil, or the villain, destroying the man who'd loved me enough to ruin us both? Months dragged like code compiling in molasses. Apex dissolved in a flurry of lawsuits. The neural prototype mothballed in some DARPA vault, too hot for civilians. I crashed on friends' couches. Then a sublet in Oakland, the kind of walk-up where roaches hosted rent parties. Job hunts. Poison chalice. Hazel Whitaker? The embezzler? Recruiters ghosted faster than bad dates. Nights blurred into bourbon haze. Ethan's ghost in every mirror, his betrayal, my vengeance, the swapped scar tissue on my psyche. Dreams replayed the beach fight, my fist in my gut, waves erasing the bloodless bruise. But secrets fester. One drizzly Tuesday, a package arrived, no sender. Brown paper crinkled like old regrets. Inside, a thumb drive and a note in Ethan's scrawl. Truth isn't one-sided.
Watch.
Then decide. Heart thudding. I plugged it in. Videos unspooled. Raw footage from our early tests.
Me.
Headset on. Eyes glazing as I muttered commands to the rat. Sleep. Forget. It complied. Then seized. Tiny body arching. I'd laughed it off. High on breakthrough buzz. Progress, I'd said. Ethan. Off camera. We stop now. My voice. Insistent. No. Push harder. Cut to. Rival demo sabotage. Me at the keyboard. Ethan's hand on my shoulder. Just a glitch, he'd urged. I'd typed the worm. Grinning. They'll never trace it. Ruin followed. That startup's founders. A couple like us. Lost home. Marriage splintering. I toasted their fall with him that night. Champagne fizzing like denial. The drive's finale, the swap night. From his POV. Pre-pitch. Me. Manic. Tweaking code last minute. Quantum's unstable. Hazel. Fuck it. We need the wow. Then, post-firing, him in my body, pounding pavement, not to gloat, but to confess, anonymous call to Harlan, teeing up the reversal. But he had already leaked the truth, twisting the narrative. Tears hot on cheeks. I'd been the monster too. Ambition's blindfold. The crime I'd borne? Ours. Shared sin. His frame? A desperate call. To save me from myself. Love. Twisted. Yes, controlling. Sacrificial. The notes PS. Feds cut a deal. Mexico. If you want out.
Same. Out.
From what? The cage I'd built. Controversial urge. Join him. Rewrite in exile. Or expose myself. Drag the industry down. I burned the drive. Ashes swirling in the sink.
No.
Redemption's path. Whistleblow clean. Press conference. Berkeley rep stage. Lights harsh as judgment. Apex wasn't just betrayal. It was hubris. Mine included. Gasps. Flashes popping. I detailed the glitches. The sabotage, my hands on keys. Lena Voss testified beside me. Voice steady. We buried warnings. For profit. Fallout tsunami. Congressional hearings. Neural ethics bills named Whitaker Act. VCs scattered like roaches. Harlan? Disgraced. But slipped a lifeline consult gig at a nonprofit. Ethical AI for underserved clinics. Small wins. Bridging minds for therapy. Not control. Ethan? Vanished south. Whispers of a cantina in Baja. Coding for fishermen's co-ops. I drove the coast once. PCH hugging cliffs like regrets. Stopped at a roadside stand. Tacos al pastor echoing our taqueria truce.
No sign.
But in the rear view, a truck idled, familiar plates.
Him?
Watching? The swap's echo tugged faint. A neural whisper. Forgive? I gunned the engine. Fog banks swallowing the maybe. Revenge's end? Not triumph, but truce with self. Debatable justice. Did I redeem? Or just shift blame? The bay gleamed ahead. Possibilities fractaling like old code. Mine to rewrite. Wait, no. That was too neat. Truth's twist lingered. Back in Oakland. Another package. Airport ticket stub. Mexico City. And a final note. You were always the stronger code. But I wrote the loop. Attached. Bank slip. Modest wire to my account. His last frame?
No. Gift.
I booked the flight. Not for him, for me. To face the man I'd been. The love I'd torched. Controversial? Chasing ghosts across borders. But in America's grind, sometimes salvation's a border hop away. The plane hummed south. Engines a lullaby over canyons. Below, the Pacific indifferent. Waves erasing footprints. I closed eyes. Headset phantom itching. Swap over. Vengeance archived. What next? A story. Perhaps ours. Retold without caps lock fury. Or silence, letting fog claim it all. Landing gear kiss tarmac. Jolt like reconnection. A customs line snaked. Faces a mosaic of seekers. There, at arrivals, tall silhouette. Harvard grin faded but real. Ethan. No, us. Reflected. He waved.
Tentative.
Hazel. I stepped forward. Hand extended, not for shake, but pull. Into whatever came next. Embrace? Reckoning? The air hummed possibility. No glitches. Just two souls. Switched back. Deciding the code. But that embrace? Mirage. As I crossed the terminal's no man's land, security swarmed, badges flashing. Accents thick with federal spite. Senorita Whitaker? With us. Ethan's figure dissolved into crowd haze, a decoy. Or ghost of wishful coding. Cuffed in a holding room reeking of stale coffee and desperation. The truth unspooled from a grizzled agent named Ruiz. Hale's deal soured. He flipped on you, the sabotage. The rat tests. Said you masterminded it all to force the swap. Steal his life. Flipped. The word knifed deep. Our truce notes? Bait. Luring me south for extradition. Mexico's a sieve for Uncle Sam's nets. Non-extradition myth busted wide. I laughed. Hollow echo in Cinderblock. He loved me once. Ruiz shrugged, lighting a cigarette despite the sign. Love's a glitch in this game. Chica. Sign the waiver. DC wants your neural maps for black sites. Back stateside. Supermax in Colorado, white-collar wing. But bars don't discriminate. Sell like a glitchy sim. Concrete box. Fluorescent buzz. View of razor wire framing Rockies mocking freedom. Letters filtered. Lena's. Forgiving Harlan's. Offering legal ghosts. None from him. I scratched code on walls with contraband pencil, entanglement theories. Revenge algorithms. If souls swap on quantum whim, why not swap fates? Plot brood. Testify against apex holdouts.
Cut immunity.
But twists barb, Ethan's flip revealed his innocence. The payoffs? My idea. Buried in a drunken rant. Neutralized threats. He'd resisted. Recorded it as leverage. The frame? To expose me. Force therapy for my unraveling mind. Guilt's cage tighter than steel. I'd seen his memories in the swap, Ohio nights. Him vowing to build empires for the forgotten.
Me?
Berkeley brat. Dad's shadow fueling a god complex.
The rat?
My push. The rival? My worm. He'd cleaned up. Loving from afar, framing to eject me safely. But vengeance blinded. I torched his world, forcing the flip. Controversial mirror. Was I victim? Or the cunning antagonist all along? Appeals dragged. Holidays blurring into gray. Christmas 26. A visitor slot. Mia. Ethan's ex-assistant. Now non-profit ally. She slid a tablet under plexi. Read this. Article. Ex-Apex CEO clears name in whistleblower pact. Ethan. Exonerated. Running ethical neural clinic in Seattle for vets with PTSD. Bridging traumas sans control. Quote. Hazel Whitaker was brilliant. Broken. I failed her.
Now.
I build what we dreamed clean. Broken. The word echoed. Swap's verdict. Tears pricked. First in months. Tell him. Sorry's a bad loop. Mia smiled.
Sad.
He knows.
Says the swap?
Best glitch ever. Showed him your code flawed, but fixable. Parole hearing dawned crisp. Panel of suits peering like VCs at pitch. MS. Whitaker. Remorse? I leaned in, voice steady as demo hum.
Deep.
I chased power. Lost self.
Now?
I'd bridge divides. Not burn them. Controversial ask. Community service in Ethan's clinic. They nodded deal. Seattle rain greeted like old friend. Space needle-piercing clouds like neural spike. Clinic tucked in Capitol Hill. Brick facade hiding humming labs. First day, headset calibration for a vet. Eyes haunted by Fallujah ghosts. Sink gentle, I murmured, guiding his thoughts to calm seas. Success, tears. Not terror. Ethan watched from doorway. Arms crossed. No grin. Just eyes. Layered with what-ifs. We talked post-shift. Over bad coffee in break room. You flipped. Accusation.
But soft.
He nodded.
Had to.
Feds had the recordings, your rants. But I buried the love parts.
Love.
Present tense? Why clear me? His turn. Gaze to window. Because the swap? I lived your skin, the isolation. The fire. You're not monster. Hazel. Just human code. Buggy.
Buggy.
Laugh bubbled. Release valve. Fixable. Echo of Mia. He reached. Hand brushing mine, no spark. But circuit close.
Together?
Maybe. Controversial pivot. Partners again. Not lovers. Ethical neural for good. Teletherapy for rural moms. Empathy training for cops. No empires. Just bridges. Months stacked. Grants flowing. Patents filed clean. One night. Glitch test, voluntary sync. Monitored. Worlds blurred. But controlled. His calm overlaying my storm. Pulled back. We exhaled. No swaps, I said. Just hand 'em. But twists shadow. A leaked memo. Harlan's ghost. Apex remnants in black budgets. Our tech twisted for interrogations. Debatable end, expose. Risk all? Or build quiet? Let karma compile? We chose quiet.
For now.
Vengeance's arc bent toward mending. Happy? Tragic? Readers call. In America's code. Heroes glitch too. Years compiled like stable builds. Seattle's drizzle became rhythm. Coffee runs to Victrola. Lab hums, syncing with fairy horns across the sound. Ethan's clinic. Rebaptized Bridgemind. Scaled modest. Pods in Appalachia clinics. Headsets for incarcerated moms video calling kids. No billion-dollar unicorns, just quiet impact. Metrics in healed lives, not valuations. I led ethics, ironies nod, vetting code for consent overrides, burying my old hubris in red tape.
Ethan?
Operations wizard. His Harvard polish softened by flannel and dad bods from late-night dad duties, twins with a barista named Claire. Stable as bay fog. Us.
Tandem.
As promised. Not lovers, scars too deep. Swaps intimacy, a bridge burned. But collaborators. Edges sanded by time. Dinners turned debriefs. That vet's sync glitched. Echo of nom. Tweak the dampener. Laughter crept in. Tentative, over my botched IPA brew or his tone-deaf karaoke at team retreats. Forgiveness? Not voiced, but coded in glances. Hands brushing over shared keyboards. A controversy stalked.
Though.
TechCrunch profile, from swap scandal to saints. Comments erupted. Whitaker's redemption arc? PR stunt. Hale played victim, bet he orchestrated the frame. Debatable us. Eternally. Harlan's memo? We'd leaked it anonymously. Sparking hearings, neural regs tightened. Black sites audited. But ripples. Death threats. Doxes. One night. Brick through lab window. Scrawled, mind rapists. Cops shrugged, zealots. Ethan patched glass. Jaw set. Worth it. Always. Lie? Half. Nights alone. Bourbon whispers. Was this atonement? Or exile in plain sight? The swap's phantom itched. Flashes of his Ohio grit in my Berkeley polish. I'd glimpsed his core. Protector. Not predator. Mine? Firebrand. Fraying at edges. Therapy unpacked it. Group circles with vets. Sharing glitches. I thought revenge fixed code. One said. Just looped errors. Climax brewed slow. American style. Boardroom redux. But non-profit pitch to feds. Ethical neural for de-radicalization. Room in DC. Suits stern as Harlan's ghost. I demoed. Headset bridging a mock divide. Empathy flooding divides. Flawless.
Then.
Q&A barb. MS. Whitaker. Your history, embezzlement. Sabotage. Trustworthy. Room tensed. Ethan's hand under table, anchor. I breathed. History's buggy code. We patched it. Judge the build. Not the beta. Murmurs. Then nods. Deal linked. $10 mil grant. Caveats galore. Outside. Rain-slick mall. Ethan clapped my back. You nailed it. First real grin in years. But twist reversed. Final cut. Homebound flight. Turbulence over Rockies, literal. Metaphorical. Package in seat pocket, not peanuts. But envelope. No stamp. Inside. Quantum chip fragment. Our prototype's heart.
Note.
Lena Voss's script. Harlan's dying wish. The real log, swap wasn't glitch. You triggered it. Hazel. Subconscious command during the fight. Wanted his power. He let you. Let me. The revelation hollowed. Not accident, my will. Dark subroutine. I'd craved his skin. His throne. Ethan knew. Flashes, his plea on the beach. Swap back. Sacrifice. Allowing my possession to teach. Love's ultimate controversial, enabling the monster to self-destruct. Landed shaking. Confronted him at the lab, midnight. Servers humming judgment. You knew. Chip in palm. Accusing. He paused. Coffee mug midway. Suspected. Your neural map spikes pre-swap. Ambitions override. No anger. Just sorrow. Why let it? Because free will's the only ethical code. He stepped close. No touch. You chose revenge. I chose faith, you debug. Tears. Unbidden. I broke us. He shook head. We broke. Together. Embrace then first since the swap. Bodies familiar strangers. Not passion,
But peace.
controversial close. Villains redeemed. Or delusions persisting.
Ending?
Debatable dawn. Bridge mind thrived. Twins calling me anti-bug. Claire's wary nod evolving to wine nights. Ethan dated steady. I swiped right on a ethicist. Coffee turned hikes in Olympics. No headsets. But the chip? Buried in garden. Quantum grave. No more swaps. America's pulse thrummed on. Elections glitchy. Tech titans falling. Underdogs rising. Us. Footnotes in the narrative. Coding quiet revolutions.
Happy?
In patches. Tragic? Only if you crave capes. Truth reversed. No heroes. Just hackers flawed. Fixable. Forever debating the debug.
Fade on the sound.
Fairies bridging divides. A story ends. Code compiles eternal.